Celebrate with my teammates and my wife and have some fun.
Can I celebrate with Mike Timlin right now? Go ahead, Tim.
I just want to say one thing. This guy right here, this win is for this man right here. Because he was not on the roster, and he showed so much heart by saying, I can't be on the roster, and it was good for the team. This is what kind of person is standing right here. I love this guy. I'm proud of this guy. It's the hardest thing to do, to take yourself out of the game for someone else. And he did it, and I'm proud of him.
CC, back to you.
Joining me now is a four-time World Series champion, but who really cares about the first two, because this guy broke the curse and then added another Red Sox title for good measure 3 years later, just because he could. He is riding in the Pan Mass Challenge, which, unless you live on Mars, you know that this is an enormous bike ride through Massachusetts. It's raised over $1 billion for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and the fight against cancer. Joining us now, Mr. Mike Timlin. Mike, what's up, man? How's the training going?
Oh, gosh, Rich, I'm just happy to be here. Seems like, like we were just talking a little bit, I'm chasing my tail quite a bit. The training, gosh, I'm not an endurance athlete. Baseball is more of an anaerobic sport, short bursts of, anything I got.
Yeah.
So doing this long distance stuff on a bike is, it's a whole new world. I'm telling you. And just trying to keep up with my wife, it's really hard to do.
Is she good at that? Now, does she bike? Is she like regularly a biker?
Yeah, she's a trail runner now.
Oh.
She's done the Boston Marathon 5 times. I think she's done Pan Mass 5 times. And, she's an athlete. I just played baseball. Let's put it that
way. So with this, have you gotten serious? Like, and when I say serious, have you bought the shorts? Have you bought the butt pad shorts to make sure that you have the official gear, that you are truly a biker now?
Oh, yes, sir. I have a couple of pair of those.
I don't even, has there been any point, Mike, in your training where you just said, all right, I didn't realize it was truly going to be, because the amount of miles that you're doing is insane. Like, once again, like, how long is the route you're going to be doing for the Pan Mass?
162.
Jeez, man, broken up over 2 days, 162 miles, no mercy. It can be hot out there too. At any point, did you just go, what the hell was I thinking?
Yes. We were in the middle of our training. We rode yesterday. We did 40 miles yesterday. And here in Denver, we have the Platte River, and there's a trail that goes along the whole thing. And it runs from close to our house all the way up to the north side of Denver. And we went through there, and, we were just kind of pedaling. It's Sunday, so it's busy. There's people out there. We were not the only bikes out there. But, we made our trek up. We turned around just a little north of Denver, and then started on our way back. And I told my wife, I said, it wasn't so bad coming downhill. She's like, what do you mean downhill? I said, well, we're running next to the Platte River, and it runs towards Nebraska. Mm-hmm. So we're going downhill. I said, we're going to be climbing to going back up. And I think she realized that, but didn't like kind of set in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got about halfway home, and I was just like, oh my gosh, my legs started burning. I was taking, a little extra time here and there. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, this, you see these people on these bikes, and as many people are riding in this thing.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
Yeah, they are. And you know what? The one thing about this that is so, that people don't understand until they do it. I did it for the first time a couple years ago. No, I did not do the badass, long ass one that you did. I did one of the shorter routes because I know my limitations.
So you didn't buy the shorts?
No, I was shorts free. It was about as tough as you could get without the butt pad. But the one thing that's awesome, Mike, is that, you're thinking as you're training, I don't know if I got this in me. And then you're surrounded by these people who have these stories that are just mind blowing of survival. the people that they're racing for. And I know you're going to be carrying with you. You're doing this for just, one of the best guys in sports, Tim Wakefield and his wife, Stacy Wakefield. Tim sadly, of course, died of brain cancer in 2023. Stacy of pancreatic cancer. And this is, the one great thing about you doing it, Mike, is that, I'll never forget what you said after the 2007 World Series. I remember, I think it was Orsillo that Tim Wakefield was talking to at the time. And you walked right up to that camera right there and you put your arm around him and you said, this win is for Tim Wakefield. And you talked about how he unselfishly gave up that World Series roster spot for a better team. I mean, you guys weren't just teammates. You truly were the greatest of friends, were you not?
We were really, really good friends. Off the field, we on the field in the locker room. When we first became teammates in 2003, and I had talked to him on the field, when I was with Toronto and I was with Seattle and Baltimore, and just, casually. I heard he was a great guy. Just you make friends with guys. You just talk to them during batting practice. And then when we got hooked up together in 2003, we gravitated towards each other just because we were close in age. For a lack of a better term, we were raised in the game the same way. It's different having athletes do what we did now than what we did and what you were allowed to do by veterans. And, there's a little bit more old school discipline happening, put it that way. So we became really good friends just on that principle. And then, I got to observe him daily, how he did his routine and did what he did as a Boston Red Sox. And, that made me think, I need to do that. I need to be more like that guy. And it helped change me as a Red Sox, trying to do, some kind of charity work or reaching out to the community because, Tim was always about kids and he was always about, the community getting better and Red Sox Nation getting better. And, he turned down some interviews and he turned down some appearances, but not many. I mean, I can tell you that he was quite busy all the time. And yet he was a great family man. He was a great dad. He was a great husband and one hell of a friend and a good hunting partner.
Oh, really? Yeah. He had game. It's weird, Mike, is that, in this industry that, I've covered sports for a long time and amongst like the athletes of sport and the media, especially everyone's trying to find like a negative on any kind of angle of any story. But Tim Wakefield may be one of the only athletes, Mike, that I've ever covered that was universally loved by everyone. Like he was like the Keanu Reeves or Dolly Parton of the sports world. Like nobody didn't like them.
That's quite the spectrum.
But I guess it makes sense. I mean, it was true. It was like nobody, and Tim was just that guy. And, and I love hearing these stories about kind of how he carried himself because I've always wondered like what the secret sauce was that made him that way, that just made it so people wanted to be around him. They wanted to be more like him. And he was well respected by not just, the people who covered him, but the athletes around him themselves.
Absolutely. And if you want to put somebody in that category that's on the field right now, I would say it would be Freddie Freeman. He's well liked. He is a hell of a ball player. He does a lot of things off the field. He cares about, not to say, you want to care about the other guys on the other team, but you do. Yeah. I mean, they're still, in the end of the day, they wear a different uniform. They're doing the same job you're doing. There is a rivalry. There is that type of thing, but they're still just a real person. Yeah. And if they're going through something off the field, that you could help out, do. It doesn't matter if you're a Tiger, a Mariner, a Oriole, a Yankee, whatever, we're all in the same, boat here. We're all human. We all have hurts. We all have feelings. And if we can, help each other out at any time, then do.
And what Tim did too was superhuman in a way that I think of the 2004 and the 2007 teams, and How many maniacs were on that team? I mean, I think about like you could honestly make a sitcom because every person I think about like how tough it is to be just like a lunch pail guy and with all the chaos in a good way. Some of these guys were just super funny. Like I'm thinking the personalities, Big Papi, Manny, Pedro, Papelbon. I mean, out of all of the things that you saw on a daily basis going to work, your head must have been spinning, Mike.
Well, you said grabbing your lunch pail and going to work, and that's kind of how we viewed ourselves. I mean, a lot of people viewed us as, oh, you have the superstar here with David Ortiz, and you have with Manny and Pedro, and but literally we kind of broke everything down after 2003, and we all became like, let's just work together. And we became a team on and off the field.
Yeah.
And, guys had their personalities. And when the red light of the camera came on, they popped up and they came out. Some of those guys I didn't want to be around when that happened. But
give me an example. Give me an example, because I mean, there's so much crazy footage. Like I watched the 2004 documentaries, and I was bringing it all back, and I'm belly laughing at some of the stuff that I saw there.
Absolutely. I mean, let's just go with probably the number one guy that you would think is Kevin Millar.
Oh yeah.
Now, this guy, he worked his ass off to get where he was and got put in a position, strangely, with the Red Sox. But, he was a good ball player. Yeah. But when the red light came on, this extra personality came out, and you're like, dude, I don't even know who the hell you are. I would just walk away and let him do his thing, and people loved it. I mean, they love the Cowboy Up thing. They love, how he brought his personality out. He challenged a lot of people in Red Sox Nation to, go past what they believed in. And that was where we're going to get to the end and we're going to fail. Well, they stopped believing that. And then they thought, well, they're going to be successful. And it carried over to the field to us, and we were successful.
Yeah.
So momentum, has its thing.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I mean, but it's Millar talking that it's when Pedro shows up with Nelson De La Rosa in a backpack walking around. I mean, what was that day like in the locker room?
Okay. And Nelson was a great guy.
Yes.
And we all took pictures with him.
You must have
and
said,
some people probably don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
Oh, I'll put a picture up. Well, I'm doing it right here in this corner. That's Nelson De La Rosa.
Stick that picture up there, yeah. And it was pretty weird. I mean, you walk in and you see this dude walking around, and dude, he's not thigh high.
Yeah,
you're just like, wait, is that real? It was. I mean, he loved, and he loved it.
Yeah,
Nelson actually loved it.
Yeah,
but. And he was hell of a good friend with Pedro. And Pedro's like, we're going to break the curse because of this guy. And it was just like, oh yeah, it was amazing how things turned. Just through the whole year.
Yeah,
little things that happened here and there, and just it just kind of broke down barriers in between. There's some barriers in between players, and when you get past that, and you learn that the dude sitting next to you is just as human as you, it's easier to play for.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, chemistry is so important with winning teams. And I've, and you've seen many times, Mike, in every sport where people try to just put superstars together and it just doesn't work. You have to have that thing that you guys had in 2004 that carried over to 2007. And I don't know who the genius was. I don't know whether or not truly the management saw that or just you guys made it happen, but it worked.
It did. It really worked. One of the examples that I could, just playing on a different team when I was traded to Seattle, from Toronto. I mean, we had Ken Griffey Jr. We had David Segui. We had Randy Johnson. We had Jamie Moyer.
Jeez.
We had, we had Dan Wilson. We had Alex Rodriguez. I mean, there were some studs on this team.
Yeah.
But yet they were not cohesive at all.
Happens all the time. Yep.
Happens all the time.
Yep.
And, for whatever reason, we were actually pretty good in 2003, but we were way better in 2004. When we left spring training, we had meetings, and you always had a meeting at the beginning. Guys stood up and said, it's going to be this room and these guys. And some of the guys were in AAA and, they were on minor league, so there's the whole rosters there.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it and we said, look, you guys coming up and you guys going down, there's going to be movement.
Yeah.
And when you get here, you're going to be expected to win and do your job and do it right, because that's the whole purpose here. We got to get to the end. And everybody accepted it and went on with it.
Well, that's why, your team will go down as one of the greats. That 2004, I mean, it was historic. It was special. There was, as you say, watching that documentary was great, because I thought I had seen everything about that 2004 team, because God knows there's been a lot written about it. But that's the great thing about your team is you really can't get enough when there's that much material. There was one thing, though, that I did not know that was in that, was when Pedro was saying that you guys allegedly found a small recording device in the ceiling of the Yankees visitors clubhouse before, I think it was game 2 of the ALCS that year. Do you remember that happening?
I don't remember that happening.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say it that probably wasn't true. That's definitely, you're telling me about it. I remember hearing whispers of it, but I never really knew it materialized. But he's not one to make something up like that.
Yeah, that's why I bought stock in it, because Pedro's not really, he's not Captain Conspiracy guy, but
absolutely not.
Yeah, were the Yankees amongst the teams that were most known for pulling shenanigans, or were there other teams that when you would go to their stadium, you'd be like, hey guys, heads up? I mean, there's been a lot of talk, obviously, about like recording of, the pitching and the signals and things like that. Was there like any certain stadiums you were like, guys, be on your best behavior, keep your eyes open?
Not that I can just pull out of my head.
Yeah.
Obviously we got to the point, you talk about stealing signals and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We got to the point after 2003, knowing we're playing everyone in the AL East 19 times, we figured out, we're just going to change the signals. And we went to a whole different signal system. And it took a while to get it down in spring training. But once everybody figured it out, no one picked up our signals.
Wow.
I mean, they just did not. We had, you had your own personal 4 or 5, and I had my own personal 4 or 5, still within the reality of what happens daily. So, give it to Tech and, some of the other guys that we came up with. The tap system that we had was pretty damn amazing.
Yeah. But
I can't, I'd like to answer your question and say, yeah, there was, a couple of places, but, I just, I didn't know.
Well, we learned a lot from that, the whole Houston Astros deal about how,
absolutely,
like the banging of trash cans. What are we like? How archaic was that? And how was that not figured out? Jeez.
Hey, well, see, that's the whole thing. It's so archaic. Nobody even paid attention to it.
Great point. I
mean, everybody's looking for a camera or a telephone or, something like that. And, it's the simple things, even in the minor leagues, we had guys stealing signals on second base, and there's 1,000 ways to relay it to the hitter.
Yeah.
But, if he picks it up, guy's got his hand behind his back. He's got his hand on his left knee. He touches the top of his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things. And then if the third base or first base coach do it, they're yelling first names or last names. So it's a breaking ball or fastball. And, it's just, and that's part of the game. It's always been part of the game, and I know they're trying to speed things up and they're trying to, not get people hit and hurt and all that stuff. But I mean, look at some of the people that have played this game for centuries ago, and they protected it and it moved along.
Yep. Yeah.
And now sometimes, television's a great thing, but I think television's one of the things that slows this game down.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, listen, the one good move that they made to try to combat that was the pitch clock, which is, I think, I don't, as a pitcher, would that have driven you crazy to play in the pitch clock era? Or
no, it wouldn't have.
I mean, have liked it.
Because I had Bill Monboquette as a pitching coach.
Yeah.
Who was a Tiger. He was a Yankee. He was a Red Sox, and he was great at it. And he told me in the minor leagues, he said, look, your guys standing in the field don't want to be standing in the field as long as you think they want to stand in the field. So he looked me in the eye and goes, get your ass on the mound, get ready, and pitch. So I worked faster, and I learned to work faster, and it puts pressure on the hitter because you're working faster.
Yeah.
And now in this era, if you're putting pressure on the hitter, the guy's like timeout, and he takes a timeout, and he steps out. Well, in Mambo's era, you didn't do that because the next ball is going to be in your friggin' ribs.
Yeah.
And there's 40,000 people or 25,000 people who came to watch him play, and both of you guys play. You take one in the ribs because he's speeding the game up, and the next guy didn't get out of the box.
Yeah.
So their games were 2 hours and 7 minutes, 2 hours and 10 minutes for 9 innings, and they got the game and they got it going.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, we're pushing 3.5 hours and 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's just not how it works.
Well, as a member of the ticket buying public, I thank you for your teachings. That as someone in the stands, when there's certain pitchers I'll stay away from. I wouldn't, because you played with a few of them that would just take forever. You knew it when you looked at your ticket. You'd be like, oh boy, it's one of those games.
Human rain delay. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
You're just like, come on.
Sure.
Yeah. And we yelled at them too.
Good.
We were like, dude, get on the mound and go.
Good.
You don't need to rub the ball up. It's still leather. It's fine. just keep going.
Right.
Yeah, we've run into those guys for sure.
Oh man. Well, I have one last question, Mike, because there's something that I ask everyone who played for this guy because I'm fascinated by this. Did the great Terry Francona ever call you into his office and have a discussion with you while he was taking a dump?
No.
Oh, because I'm not kidding you. Almost every person
I was one of the lucky ones,
But you knew of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you walk in and you expect him to be sitting over there in the corner. Yeah, and it was like, no, okay, he's behind his desk. I'm okay. Or he's sitting on the couch. I'm totally fine. And we'll have that discussion.
Because I swear, every player from that era I have to ask, because I think it might have been Big Papi who told me that first. And I just sat there and I'm like, was he like doing it to be funny? I was like, no, that's where he was the most comfortable. He would just call you in. He'd be sitting behind there, kind of just going number 2 and just having a discussion as if nothing was going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was comfortable that way. But I know guys that have gone in there, and he's face to face. He goes, "Oh, I got to go," and they're like, "Okay." He goes, "No, you sit there. I'll be right there."
You stay.
And he's right behind. Yeah, you stay because I better talk to you.
Oh.
I was like, "Okay." Luckily, that was not me.
Well, you were spared. You were one of the few who was spared, Mike.
It was few and far between.
Few and far between. Well, Mike, this is a great thing you're doing. Not just obviously that, because of, you're doing it for, Tim Wakefield and his wife, which is awesome, but also because, I've seen firsthand, my wife is a 3-time cancer survivor. Unfortunately, she's a patient right now. She's back in, but because of Dana-Farber, they are miracle workers over there. Matter of fact, they saved her life, 3 times so far, and they're working on a 4th. And I've seen what they've done firsthand, and it is as elite as an organization, and their research is top notch, and they are truly lifesavers and miracle workers there. So,
well, my wife and I are just totally glad that we can, and for what we're chipping in, compared to everybody else. It may be a drop in the bucket, but, the bucket wouldn't be filled if it wasn't our 2 drops. So, we're happy to be doing it. We're glad to, just be part of something like this. And obviously we're blessed to represent the Wakefield family also.
That's awesome. It's going to be a great time. As I said, I hope the butt pad holds up. You know,
It's going to be a time. I don't know if it's going to be a great time, Rich.
Sure, it'll be a time. It'll be a time. Well, Mike, this was great. Thank you so much for checking in with us, and good luck. And by the way, if you want to send me that link to your fundraiser, if you've got your page, I know everyone's got their Pan Mass pages. I'll link it to this video so people can hopefully get you. We'll see. Whatever people can donate is good.
Hey, whatever's, if you're $5 is great. Just if you feel like contribute, great. We will definitely take it. But I'll send you that link on the email.
That sounds great.
Put it on.
Great stuff, Mike. Thanks so much for spending time with me this
Thanks,
morning.
Rich.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
You too. Oh, thank you.
Bye.